Warner Brothers has an Amber Heard problem. That's nothing new, but what is new is the idea that they might not even market Aquaman 2. The film may be so bad that, according to rumors, Warner Brothers is planning to say, you know what? We'll take this steaming pile of burning cash and burn no more. Now we're taking a look at this and the simmering situation between Elon Musk and Amber Heard, where he is now posting pictures of her cosplaying as the character Mercy from Overwatch. Now everybody involved in this disastrous dumpster fire may be saying, please have mercy on us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the WDW Pro channel. Such a joy that all of you are out there joining us. We appreciate you sharing your time. We also appreciate having Matthew Kadish of the Salty Nerd Podcast back on again. Matt, welcome back.
Thank you. I know that you're slumming it having me on because you couldn't find any other guests to fill the slot, but I appreciate it.
May I say, you are he who touches the heavens and brings James Mangold down to earth. That's right, that's right. Folks, if you don't know about that, we'll explain again some other time. But right now, we need to explain what is going on with Warner Brothers, with DC, with Aquaman 2, and with Amber Heard. Now, Matt, it's not a surprise, I would suppose, to many in the audience that Amber Heard is right now a very unpopular person with audiences. Can you give us just a brief run-through of why that might be?
Well, Amber Heard, like many actresses during the Me Too movement, decided to come out and share their stories of being taken advantage of, domestic abuse, all that stuff. And she happened to be married to a very famous actor at the time, Johnny Depp. And she became like the poster child for the Me Too movement in the sense that she came out and said that she was abused and she had been battered and she was going to donate money to charity to help women across the world and all this stuff. And then Johnny Depp sued her for defamation, and the trial was very public. And it became quite obvious throughout the course of the trial that Amber Heard was a consistent and habitual liar, that she was actually the abuser in the relationship, and that basically she has a PR team behind her which has been trying to spin her bad behavior for a very, very long time. And while this trial got huge amounts of public attention, she was in the middle of shooting Aquaman 2 or doing like reshoots for it. And all the negative press on Amber Heard was really affecting, the plans for the movie. And so there was talk about recasting her. There was talk about, kind of like reshooting the movie so that, like her character, who's a big part of the first movie, her storyline gets scaled back. And basically after she lost her defamation suit to Johnny Depp, her career has kind of taken a little bit of a nosedive. But she had been very active in Hollywood because obviously she's a very attractive woman. And there had been many rumors about her amorous exploits. I guess I'll put it like that. She's kind of been in the news a little bit lately. Like there was an incident in Amsterdam where she was seen publicly defecating at some point in some alleyway, and basically just no really good.
Well, apparently there wasn't a bed available, Matt. No beds available.
Yeah.
So
no beds,
the alleyway
no dogs
will have
to blame
do.
it on. Yeah.
But let me give you this. So of course, this is just coming out yesterday, and I think this may be a case where we can actually feel badly for Amber Heard. Maybe not. We'll see what the folks out there think. But this, of course, is an image that Elon Musk has shared. Elon Musk, of course, the wealthiest man on the planet, and yes, it does appear that he was in a relationship with Amber Heard. This is her cosplaying, perhaps in a romantic tryst with him, as Mercy from the video game Overwatch. And I don't know, what do you think? I mean, there's nothing scandalous in terms of any kind of revealing of her body that would be inappropriate. At the same time, it feels a little gross for Elon Musk to be posting this because it does suggest that he's revealing what occurred in their romantic relationship. What do you make of Elon Musk posting this?
Well, first thing I'd say is you might want to show the tweet that he's replying to that post.
Well, tell us about it. We'll pull it up in post, but tell us about that tweet. What's the context here?
I need to look it up real quick because I forgot. Too busy looking at Amber Heard. Let's see here. Elon Musk. So essentially, the whole thing with Elon Musk is that he was kind of well known for kind of stepping out with Amber Heard, and Amber Heard would pull in other kind of like somewhat famous actresses and models into a throuple situation, a threes couple type thing. And there was a tweet that was put out that said a new Elon Musk biography reports that he asks ex-girlfriend Amber Heard to cosplay as Mercy from Overwatch. And I guess just to confirm that this was true, he posted this picture.
So what do you think? Is it appropriate or inappropriate for him to post this? We assume this was some sort of favor that she did for him. What do you think? Is this off the limits? Do you think that Elon Musk, in this case, acted poorly towards her? Or do you think this is totally cool?
Well, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing sexual about the picture. Basically, if the biography is claiming that he asked her to do it and he has proof that she did it, then he's basically just confirming that, I asked her to dress up like this, and she did.
It is interesting that she will do many things, apparently. As you said before, she will cosplay as a video game character if it ingratiates her with the world's richest man.
Well, I also would like to know like the context of this. Like, was it Halloween? Were they going to a party, or was this just like for like personal, role playing stuff? So I guess we're gonna have to wait for the biography to come out to actually find out what the case is. But I feel like this is like a controversy type thing, where basically it's like, oh yeah, he dated Amber Heard. People know he dated Amber Heard. They did stuff, but there's really nothing here to kind of like go one way or the other in terms of like how people think of her. I think,
well, if anything, may engender some level of empathy for her. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out over time. There are a great number of people out there who really dislike Elon Musk. They dislike what he's done with Twitter/X. No position taken here, but folks, I'm still using the platform and find it to be successful for what I try to do. One thing that may not be successful, though, is the movie that she's in. We just talked about Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom, and apparently, according to John Trent, who does an excellent job of scooping out these rumors over on Bounding into Comics, Warner Brothers is not planning to market this film. Let's read the article, and then I want your take on it, Matt. A new rumor claims that Warner Brothers Discovery is not marketing Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom because the company knows the movie is bad and believes it will lose them money. This rumor comes from scooper Casey Walsh on X, that's Twitter, who responded to a question about why an Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer has not been released yet, despite the film set to arrive in theaters on December 20th, 2023. It should be the big Christmas movie. Walsh wrote, because they know it's bad, they know it'll lose money, and they aren't putting a marketing budget behind it. Wow. Well, that's a significant claim. It goes beyond just saying that this is Amber Heard's fault, but rather that this is actually just a really bad film, period. So, Matt, on top of it being a bad film, how much do you think that the negative Amber Heard effect still affects this movie? Do you think that she sort of condemns this film by being in it, or do you think that, she's not much of a factor anymore? How much does the average person on the street still remember that she treated Johnny Depp poorly, allegedly?
Well, there is definitely like a very hardcore segment of the audience that, is going to boycott anything Amber Heard's in because they're Johnny Depp fans and they feel that he was wronged by her. So like, let's say out of like 100% of the audience that was planning to go see Aquaman 2, maybe like 10% of that is basically like a no-go, like, never hearders, right?
They might also be the most hardcore of the fans inside entertainment too, though, and specifically as part of this type of entertainment.
Possibly. I think more women than men are kind of like in the anti-Heard camp. And, the big appeal, one of the reasons why the first Aquaman made $1 billion is because women turned out in droves to see Jason Momoa, right?
Right,
so,
right.
A big part of his fan base is women. And so if you take away, like, let's just say 10% of that as people who are boycotting the movie based on principle of, not wanting to support Amber Heard, already like you're in kind of like at a disadvantage. Now, we at the Salty Nerd podcast, we do have some sources that kind of report into us, and we're not really a news channel, so we don't really like talk about it too much. But we have had a situation where people have told us about how bad Aquaman 2 is going to be, and how Jason Momoa is basically like even he knows it's bad. And
are you free to talk about that, or is that something you want to maintain exclusive? What do you got on this? How bad is it? How bad is it, Matt?
Well, so like the whole thing. Sorry, my co-host just came in here. So basically, from what we've been hearing, first of all, this movie has the Amber Heard effect. Then it got kind of delayed because of COVID. It got reshuffled in its release date. Originally, it was supposed to come out in the summer, I believe, and they pushed it back to November. They did an extensive amount of reshoots because originally Michael Keaton was going to be in there as the Michael Keaton Batman, the Tim Burton Batman. And because of all the shuffling around of like the new DCEU and stuff like that, they had to replace him with Ben Affleck. And now we're hearing that they reshot all the stuff that they reshot with Ben Affleck to remove Ben Affleck from it. From like what we've just been hearing from people kind of like associated with the production, like everyone knows that it's basically going to be like a crappy movie, just because like it's been pieced together from a bunch of different reshoots, and they've had to rejigger the story after it was written and shot and all this other stuff. And so like nobody expects this movie to do well.
It's a kaleidoscope, a collage of mediocrity is what you're saying.
I don't even know if mediocrity, that might be too generous. It might be just like it might just be like a crap fest. Right?
A mosaic of mishaps, if I have to continue this analogy.
Yes, like Amber Heard's poop. It's just a mosaic.
Oh no!
Yeah.
This movie's not corny. What are you talking about?
Amber Turd. So basically, we have a situation here where Warner's is like, okay, we've already spent a ton of money on this movie. In fact, they probably spent what they were going to spend in marketing on like all like the reshoots and just trying to get it ready for theaters. And so the suits, quite reasonably, are probably sitting there like, okay, how much good money do we keep throwing after bad? And I think that their logic is that, okay, it's a sequel to $1 billion grossing movie. It's got Jason Momoa's star power behind it. Hopefully by the time this movie comes out, the actors strike will be over so that the actors involved can get on social media and start promoting it and stuff like that.
I wouldn't be optimistic about that at this point. I'll just tell you.
Yeah, I agree. I think the strikes are going to go into next year, but regardless, from a studio executive's point of view, they're sitting there and they're like, okay, we've got enough kind of like interest and momentum on this thing where we could probably break even if we don't throw any more money behind it. So I can totally, like, right now all this stuff is rumors about Warner Brothers abandoning it, but it seems because of like the track record of The Flash and Blue Beetle and Shazam, which have all come out this year and have all underperformed, they're seeing a pattern here, and they know that they screwed up by having James Gunn announce like his new slate and basically say that these movies are irrelevant to the overall DCEU, and there's no real reason to see them because, like, you know, there's not going to be any sequels to these things. There's not going to be any development of the characters. The actors might be replaced. So audiences, just by and large, have like tuned out from these new DC movies, and it's pretty obvious that that Aquaman 2, just because of all the production problems and the whole Amber Heard scandal and all this stuff, is staring down the barrel at a very kind of like disappointing opening. And we always know that sequels never do as good as the original. So I'm guessing that like if this movie grosses like, you know, 600-700 million, they'd consider it a win because you know,
good luck with that.
Yeah.
So the budget is the budget's in excess of 200 million. We don't know how far it's in excess because they don't report on the cost of reshoots, but this thing's probably up there around 250 if I had to guess. If they're going to pull all the marketing, yeah, well, it definitely could be, but I think baseline 250 at least. The marketing is interesting because these studios, they have pre-commitments to various things with the theaters where they have to commit a certain amount of marketing to the film. So I don't know how low they can get that down. Maybe they could get it if they completely, you know, if they removed everything that was still on the table, that they, you know, possibly they get marketing down to 50 million. I don't know how much lower they could go than that.
So we know that there are movies that came out this year that were kind of shooting around the time the Aquaman 2 shut down for COVID. You had Indiana Jones, you had a couple others that I'm blanking on right now, but basically we know Indiana Jones was like 350 million just for production because of like, you know, the COVID shutdowns and stuff like that. Now, when you consider the sheer amount of reshoots that they've had to do on Aquaman, in addition to that, I'm hearing like that the amount of money that WB has spent on this thing is close to like 400 to 500 million.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's
now,
painful.
I don't know.
That
I don't know how accurate it is, but if you look at like kind of like what we know about these other movies that were shot around the same time, and just the sheer number of reshoots, like having to bring Ben Affleck back in, pay him his salary, you know, to come and do these reshoots.
That number hurts to even hear. Oh my gosh, that is.
Yeah. So like that's the only scenario I can think of where basically the studio's like, okay, we've spent $500 million on this movie. If we're going to market it, we're going to have to spend another $200 million. At that point, there's like no path to profitability. We have
spent Force Awakens money on a film that has no hope whatsoever. Good grief.
So like that's why these rumors of Warner Brothers kind of like pulling back on the marketing, not spending any more money on Aquaman 2 make a lot of sense to me, because it's just like, okay, you know, like how much money are you going to keep throwing at this thing, especially considering the fact that all three other of your big DC releases this year have just failed to perform. So
Matt, I think that it's probably accurate to say that Warner Brothers is now saying what Elon Musk once said: have mercy. Credit goes to Uncle Jesse for that one. So Matt, where can people find you for more great analysis such as what you've given us today?
Well, if they go to saltynerdvideo.com, that takes them right to our YouTube channel, Salty Nerd Podcast. We're a comedy channel that kind of focuses on making fun of movies and TV shows. And we also like to talk about some trending topics on our live streams and stuff like that. So saltynerdlive.com will show you when our next live stream is coming up. If you ever want to see us live, we have a lot of fun doing our live shows. In fact, you've been on them a couple of times. Thank you so much for that. And just check us out. We drop new episodes every Thursday and Friday on the channel, and we go live every Tuesday and Saturday. So a lot of content.
Fantastic. And folks, make sure you click on the link down in the description below. You're going to want to go check out Salty Nerd. It is great stuff. And folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. When you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. And don't forget that we need comments down below because we care about what you think. Will Amber Heard actually have a negative impact on Aquaman 2, or is it already so bad that it no longer even matters? And which one is worse? Pooping in an alley or pooping in the bed? Let us know which one you think is the more, what shall we say, stinky situation. Well, folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, don't poop the bed. Keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun.
Make sure to catch The Pro Show Thursdays 5 to 7 Eastern Time. Entertainment Explained, The Culture Curve Conquered, live with Pro and all his friends.
Floral, it's time for you to walk the plank.
What? Why?
Because you haven't subscribed to WDW Pro yet. Nor bookmark thatparkplace.com on your web browser to get great articles from great contributors.
What?